Before they settle into the big red coaches' chairs, the voice coaches are kicking off season 25 per tradition, with a group performance. Dressed in ethereal white and backed by a choir, the 4 coaching acts, 5 performers total, split duties on a soaring rendition of Jackie DeShannon's 1989 pop hit, Put a Little Love in Your Heart. The Voice's YouTube channel shared a sneak peek at the performance on Saturday, February 24, technically about a week and a half late for Valentine's Day, but a sweet and sentimental message nonetheless, as fans gear up for the start of the show's next season. Returning coaches Reba McEntire, John Legend, and Chance the Rapper all did justice to the song's vocal flair, with R&B runs and soaring embellishments. But this live version of Put a Little Love in Your Heart got a double dose of country, because McEntire's not the only coach that hails from the country genre this season. That's right, Dan plus Shay are officially entering their first season as voice coaches, and they went toe-to-toe with the rest of the coaching gang in this performance. As usual for the duo, Shay Mooney handled lead vocals, while Dan Smyers provided harmony and strummed an acoustic guitar. Dan plus Shay are the show's first ever coaching duo, and they'll be seated in an all-new, custom double chair. Though there are 2 seats, there's only 1 button, so the bandmates will have to get good at agreeing on snap decisions about which contestants to fight for. To watch the season premiere of The Voice, tune into NBC on Monday night at 8 p.m. ET. Meet Team Reba. The 14 contestants Reba McEntire will coach on her first season of The Voice. The blind auditions are over, and Reba McEntire has officially stocked her team with 14 talented would-be stars. Get to know the voice contestants on Team Reba this season. McEntire got her pickup man just under the wire during the last episode of Blind Auditions. This Louisiana native returned to The Voice for season 24 after facing rejection the season prior, and he joked that he was mounting his Boogie comeback tour on the show. But when he performed a Joe Diffie hit, it was no joke at all. McEntire turned her chair and welcomed him to her team. Jackson Snelling. This 21-year-old Indiana native is the kind of true blue country singer that was always going to be a shoo-in for Team Reba. Jackson Snelling auditioned with Justin Moore's If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away, and he also shared a little bit of his backstory, revealing that he and his brother, both adopted, have autism, and Snelling used to sing to his brother to help stimulate his brain and teach him to talk. Mac Royals. If you thought McEntire's team was going to be made up exclusively of country singers, think again. After all 4 coaches turned their chairs for Mac Royals' rendition of John Mayer's Gravity, McEntire successfully swayed him to Team Reba with a little bit of bribery. Team gifts like custom jackets and her infamous tater tots. Crystal Nickel. This voice hopeful had a special reason for picking Rihanna's Only Girl in the World for her blind audition. She co-wrote it. Turns out, Nicole is already a veteran songwriter who has penned tracks for the likes of Beyoncé and Mariah Carey. Now she'll get her shot in the spotlight as she joins Team Reba. C.O. Rai. Here's another singer who's already made some prominent industry moves. Fans might recognize C.O. Rai from her appearance on NBC's Songland, though she's taken a step back from the stage to focus on family in recent years. Still, the New Jersey native was anything but rusty when she performed Dua Lipa and Martin Garrix's Scared to Be Lonely, and McEntire took notice. Allison Albrecht. This pop-leaning young performer might not be country per se, but she does have some Nashville-forward inclinations. During a trip to Nashville, she performed at the city's famed Bluebird Cafe. Albrecht snagged the attention of another country great, Reba McEntire, during her blind auditions performance of Alanis Morissette's Ironic. Jordan Rayner. It seems like it must have been fate that Jordan Rayner would join Team Reba. Not only is she from Atoka, Okla, a stone's throw from where McEntire grew up in McAllister, but she auditioned with a performance of Fancy. Her powerful blind audition earned her a 4-chair turn, but of course, she ultimately had to go with the Queen of Country as her coach. Ruby Lee. This contestant earned a 4-chair turn with her yodeling, bluegrass rendition of Patsy Montana's 1935 hit, I Wanna Be a Cowboy's Sweetheart. Each of the coaches made their best pitch to woo Lee to their team, but ultimately, it was McEntire, a former rodeo star who knows how to yodel herself, who won the day. Miss Monette. This voice contestant isn't exactly fresh-faced. On the contrary, she's a veteran backing vocalist who's worked with everyone from Kenny Loggins to Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And she even cut backing vocals for voice coach Gwen Stefani's 2017 Christmas album. Miss Monette earned chair turns from Stefani and McEntire for her performance of Steve Winwood's Higher Love, but ultimately, it was McEntire who she chose as her coach. Angelina Nazarian. A recent high school grad whose biggest crowd to date was an audience of 300 at a cousin's wedding, Angelina Nazarian brought raw, unfiltered talent to the blind auditions with her rendition of Kelly Clarkson's The Trouble with Love. This pop powerhouse has soaked up a variety of different cultural and musical styles over the course of her life to date. She's lived in 6 different countries. And during her blind auditions episode, Nazarian said that Arabic music has had a big influence on her sound. Tom Nitty. Fans of Craig Campbell and Chris Jensen just might have seen this voice hopeful's face before. He's open for both of them. Nitty performed Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours during his blind audition, and a last-minute chair turn from McEntire secured his spot on the show, and Team Reba. Rachel Nguyen. A first-generation Vietnamese-American, Nguyen braided her cultural heritage with her unmistakable personality in her rendition of Leoma Lewis, Bleeding Love, turning the blind auditions, and McEntire took notice. Though the young singer only scored 1 chair turn, she only needed 1 to move forward on the show on Team Reba. Caitlin Quisenberry. Team Reba's last edition was a good one. Caitlin Quisenberry recovered from a shaky start during her blind auditions performance of Casey Musgrave's Rainbow, and ultimately, she impressed enough to turn 2 coaches' chairs. McEntire beat out Gwen Stefani to secure this voice hopeful to her team. Dylan Carter. The 14th and final addition to Team Reba, Dylan Carter left not a dry eye in the house with his 4-chair turn audition performance of Whitney Houston's I Look to You. The song, a tribute to his late mother, and one he was too emotional to perform at her funeral, perfectly conveyed the voice hopeful's powerhouse emotional capabilities, and McEntire didn't hesitate to sign him to her team. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel Jaxcey N24. Thank you for watching.